Thank y'all for tuning in. You're now tuning in my podcast, SF Johnny, Seriously Focused Johnny. You are tuned into Difficult People Chronicles. Today's episode is short, sweet, and simple. It's a Q&A. How do you know when you are healed? Yeah, how do you know when you are healed? Johnny, I've been trying to explain to my boyfriend that I am healed because he keeps saying that I'm not healed every time we get into an argument about something. And I can't explain it, but I do know that I'm healed. What are some of the signs that you can think of knowing that a person has healed? Number one, you have a change of feelings. You, the old you is always, I'm going to just give you an example. It's always the opposite. So if you're always angry, you're no longer angry. Your emotions might change where it's just water under the bridge. It's like moving right along. You no longer feel the same. Number two, you stop reacting. For example, if you have someone that you're always beefing with or arguments that go on in the family and you're used to 9 times out of 10 always explaining a situation from A to Z, you no longer do that because you feel like it's a waste of your time. And after explaining it the first time, it's like, why? You no longer do that. You no longer react where you feel a need the argument should go on and linger for hours, or for some, bring it up again just to get a different reaction. You no longer feel the need to do that because your peace means more than anything. You learn to lie in God's presence more, prefer His direction. When God tells you to walk away, you walk away. When He tells you to be still, you be still. When He tells you to act, you act. It no longer becomes what you should do. You just say, I'm going to do whatever God tells me to do and call it a day because it's easier. hmm You move more from the flesh part of you to your spirit. And it doesn't always happen all at once. That's called spiritual growth. So that's part of number one and two, where I said, your feelings change because the flesh part of you may say something like go off and say this and say that, but your spirit side of you says quiet. Be quiet. It's part of spiritual growth. You forgive where you no longer care about the pain that was caused. You understand what happened in the situation, and the pain becomes your testimony, whether they like it or not. It's for you. It's that positive outlook, hmm whether they like it or not. And the reason why I say that is because nowadays what I'm seeing is that a lot of people, when you tell your testimony, because they haven't learned their lesson or because they don't want to change, they don't want you to tell your testimony because they know that they're going to be seen by others as a culprit, and they don't want to get embarrassed, you know, but they want it to be brushed under the rug. But it's your testimony, whether they like it or not. You learn to reflect, and reflection allows you to address the root cause, take accountability for some, establish better boundaries, like methods of de-stressing. And what came to me is modality, turning your fear to faith, establishing healthy relationships, establishing resilience. You learn to reflect. hmm You learn to focus more on you. So you no longer point the finger at that person and what they did and all that and say, that person, that person. You say, look, never mind all that. What do I need to do to be at peace? What do I need to do to take care of myself? What do I need to do to get back to that place where I was happy? Self care. And sometimes self care means separation. And it could mean separation from the world. Like just going back to what I said, being in God's presence. You learn to uplift those going through similar situations or the same thing. You learn about forgiveness, not only about forgiving the culprit, but also forgiving yourself. Because sometimes we do have a tendency to hold ourselves to high standards, and we beat ourselves up about the things that we gotten into, and that comes with not forgiving ourselves. We could be our worst enemy. hmm So you learn to forgive the culprit. You also got to learn to forgive yourself. In times of healing, God will carve things off of you. He will reshape you. Like I said before, He will isolate you, separating you. That's spiritual development. The alone time is when you think about things that transpired. It's kind of like a pottery class. You have the instructor, you have the students, you have the clay, you have the plate that's on this spinning thingamajiggy, and you get the clay and you shape it on this plate, pinching pieces off of it because maybe it might be too much to make whatever you're going to make. Say you're making a cup or a vase. Sometimes you got to think about adding water so the clay is more pliable. You hold it, you mold it while that thingamajiggy is spinning, the wheel, I guess they will call it, maybe. I don't know. And then you get a masterpiece. And that's my example of the same way how God creates you into His masterpiece. The pinching off process of the clay is never going to be painless, it's going to be painful to get you exactly how you're supposed to be. And when God finishes creating the masterpiece, which is you, it's beautiful. And that's how a lot of people look at you when God finishes with you. Because you are His creation. And the same way the devil, he tries to mold you into foolishness. Because whatever God does, the devil tries to do. But he wants to mold you into foolishness. But we're not talking about that. We talk about how God creates the masterpiece. hmm And those are just some of the ways you know that you are healed. So, that's it. Like I said, I was going to make this short, sweet, and simple because the holiday's coming up. So, I want everybody to enjoy your holiday. Take some time out to rest, relax, and be at peace. And sign up for a session if you like. And email me for suggested topics. Put in the subject box topic. Check me out on YouTube. Like, subscribe, click the notification. Check out my store. All the links is underneath. Love me more and I love you more. Have a blessed week, y'all. Later.